Ali MacGraw's story doesn't start on the red carpets of Hollywood. It begins in the quiet shadows of Bedford Village, New York, far from fame and fortune. Growing up in a home clouded by her father's battle with alcohol and her parents' constant fighting, Ali never felt the security or self-assurance that her future fans saw on screen. Every argument chipped away at her confidence, leaving her searching for an escape. That need to get away would eventually shape the course of her entire life. When Ali turned to modeling, it wasn't just about beauty or glamour. It was about survival. With the guidance of legendary editor Diana Vreeland, she broke through the barriers of self-doubt and entered the world of fashion, where her unique look was finally appreciated. But what nobody realized was that behind her poised exterior, she harbored deep insecurities and a desperate longing for stability. Her big break came in 1969's Goodbye Columbus, a film that thrust her into Hollywood's spotlight almost overnight. Suddenly, she had the attention of industry insiders and, most importantly, Paramount producer Robert Evans. He saw in Ali something extraordinary, a vulnerability that made her unforgettable. And, as luck would have it, Evans cast her in Love Story, a decision that not only changed her life but also the entire landscape of Hollywood romance. But as Ali's career accelerated, she found herself living a double life. On screen, she was the embodiment of innocence. Off camera, she was just a young woman still haunted by the unresolved pain of her childhood. The audience saw a sparkling new star, but behind the scenes, Ali was battling storms no one could see. And soon, those storms would lead her straight into the heart of one of Hollywood's most shocking love stories. Ali MacGraw's leap from relative obscurity to universal recognition was nothing short of dazzling. In Love Story, her performance as Jenny lit up movie screens across the globe, leaving audiences mesmerized and critics scrambling to find new words for her breakthrough. The film's haunting tagline, "Love means never having to say you're sorry," echoed in every home. And suddenly, Ali wasn't just an actress. She was a symbol of innocence, heartbreak, and romantic ideals for an entire generation. Her marriage to Robert Evans seemed like the perfect Hollywood ending. Evans, powerful and influential, adored her and guided her career with confidence. Together, they embraced the spotlight, basking in the attention and acclaim that came with being Tinseltown royalty. To the outside world, Ali had achieved every dream: fame, fortune, and a family. Their son Joshua arrived at the peak of her stardom. But the true story was more complicated. The adoration came with pressures Ali could never have anticipated. Every move was scrutinized, every rumor magnified. Behind glamorous appearances, she juggled the emotions of motherhood, marriage, and expectations that weighed heavier than any gold statuette. The sense of fulfillment she showed on magazine covers masked growing doubts about her place in the industry and in her own life. Yet, as Ali tried to hold together her gleaming world, destiny began to pull her in a new direction. Another role was about to become available, one that would not only test her acting, but send her headlong into the arms of Hollywood's most notorious leading man. Everything changed when Ali was cast in The Getaway opposite Steve McQueen. It looked like a golden opportunity. Her powerful husband, Robert Evans, had secured her the role, and Hollywood was buzzing with excitement. But beneath that opportunity was a sense of dread Ali couldn't shake. Steve McQueen came with a reputation, wild, rebellious, and impossible to predict. She'd later admit she sensed the danger before ever stepping on set. From day one, tensions flared. The production itself was a battlefield. Director Sam Peckinpah's infamous drinking led to explosive clashes with McQueen, including a champagne bottle hurled in drunken fury. Behind the scenes, Ali struggled with her own insecurities, intimidated by McQueen's aura and frustrated by her performance. But it wasn't just the chaos on set that unsettled her. As the cameras rolled, an undeniable chemistry brewed, a pull Ali would describe as instant and overwhelming. She felt herself drawn into Steve's orbit, unable to look away. Filming The Getaway would change Ali's life forever. With every scene, the professional boundary between co-stars blurred, leading straight into a storm Hollywood wasn't ready for. And the next chapter would erupt in scandal. What began as on-screen chemistry soon spilled into the headlines. Ali and Steve's affair was pure electricity, uncontrollable, captivating, and impossible to hide. The fact that she was still married to Robert Evans while Steve was finalizing his own divorce only amplified the scandal. Hollywood was transfixed. The tabloids followed every move, and fans couldn't get enough of the forbidden romance. The Getaway became a box office smash. Publicity fueled not just by the action on screen, but by rumors swirling off camera. Yet, for Ali, the fallout was devastating. Her marriage to Evans imploded, leaving behind betrayal and heartbreak. He had given her everything, only for her to walk away. Friends worried the whirlwind would destroy her career, but the pull of Steve's world was too strong. The press painted the couple as Hollywood's hottest new item, but the reality was a tangled web of sacrifice and regret. What the world saw as a fairy tale had a darkness no one suspected. The ultimate test of loyalty and self-worth was just ahead, and it would cost Ali more than her reputation. Ali and Steve's wedding should have been a triumph, a union of superstars, a Hollywood dream come true. The ceremony was small and intimate, promising a fresh start. But in reality, their marriage turned out to be a rigid negotiation. Before wedding vows were exchanged, Steve insisted on a strict prenup. If Ali ever left, she wouldn't see a dime. Just as shocking, he demanded she give up acting entirely. Her star, so recently ignited, was dimmed by his demands. McQueen expected total devotion. Ali sacrificed everything she'd worked for: her independence, her identity, even her passion for film. She became a full-time homemaker at his behest, raising her son on the sandy beaches of Malibu while outsiders admired their supposedly perfect life. But behind those closed doors, Ali's world shrank. The once bold actress now walked on eggshells, worried every move would provoke his jealousy or suspicion. The more she gave, the more Steve wanted. What looked like paradise was already cracking. The cost of loving the king of cool was about to come due. At first, married life in Malibu seemed idyllic. Private barbecues, seaside walks, and laughter with select friends. But the shadows of Steve's past quickly darkened their home. Scarred by his own childhood abandonment, Steve's jealousy grew into a storm. Ali couldn't so much glance at another man without suspicion flaring. Yet Steve himself courted temptation everywhere, flirtations, affairs, and secrets that soon reached Ali's ears. The double standard was unmistakable, and the trust between them began to erode. The role Ali had been forced into, cook, cleaning lady, simple woman to the hilt, become a prison. Steve's need for control only deepened her isolation. Meanwhile, his drinking and drug use increased, fueling cycles of rage and regret that left both of them wounded. Ali found herself turning to alcohol as well, desperate for relief from the suffocating tension. What began as one of Hollywood's most passionate unions was now a house haunted by suspicion and silence. And every day brought Ali closer to an impossible choice. By 1976, the illusion of a glamorous marriage was shattered. Steve's nights vanished into drinking, drugs, and vanishing acts, while Ali's loneliness deepened under the weight of his betrayals. Gossip raced through Hollywood about Steve's affairs, often open, sometimes cruel. Ali tried to confront him, desperate for answers, but Steve dodged, denied, or exploded in anger. The humiliation was relentless. Feeling trapped, Ali began to look for companionship elsewhere, the marriage now a cycle of mistrust and heartbreak. Finally, she reached her breaking point. In a moment of clarity, Ali declared she wanted to return to acting, not just as a job, but as a lifeline to herself. Steve's response was cold as ice. In that case, we are filing for divorce. With those words, she saw the truth. Her dreams had always come second. The divorce was finalized in 1978, capping 5 years of chaos, control, and emotional fallout. But Ali's battles weren't over yet. The greatest loss was waiting just around the corner. Only 2 years after the divorce, tragedy struck. In 1911, at just 50, Steve McQueen lost his battle with a rare cancer, a shock that rippled through Hollywood and devastated those closest to him. For Ali, the news was a confusing storm of grief. Despite everything, the jealousy, the isolation, the betrayals, she had loved him deeply and hoped for some kind of peace between them. Now that chance was gone forever. The pain of their past and the dreams forever lost to pride and addiction haunted her. Ali reflected, "I wish we had both grown old sober." It was a heartbreak she carried with her for decades, the realization that love is sometimes not enough to conquer the darkness within. This loss didn't break her, but it did force her to confront the damage both had endured and caused. But from life's lowest moments, new beginnings can rise. Alone and battered, Ali spent her early 40s searching for purpose beyond the ruins of stardom. Roles became rare, and typecasting was constant, with Hollywood eager to replace its former sweetheart. But her true battle was personal: addiction, heartbreak, and the invisible wounds left by years of turmoil. The tipping point came in the early 1911 when Ali checked herself into the Betty Ford Center. There, she broke through decades of pain to finally confront her alcoholism and the ghosts of her past. Her candor in recovery became her new strength. She wrote an unflinching memoir, moving pictures, opening up about her struggles and reaching thousands facing their own battles. Trading spotlights for sunshine, Ali moved to Santa Fe, where she embraced sobriety, spiritual practice, and genuine self-discovery. Her days filled with gardening, painting, and activism, a quiet but powerful reinvention far removed from Hollywood's relentless demands. Ali's return to herself was its own form of victory. But even as she healed, she carried lessons only hard-won by surviving the world's brightest lights. In Santa Fe, Ali forged a life centered on healing, kindness, and community service. No longer seeking the approval of studios or lovers, she found happiness in small routines and big causes: animal welfare, women's empowerment, and creative partnerships. She never remarried, instead deepening friendships and reconnecting with lost bonds, like reuniting with her love story co-star decades later. Her work with women artisans through global collectives allowed her to use her fame for purpose, not validation. Honest and unromantic about her past, she freely admits the joys and agonies of loving Steve McQueen. There were wonderful days, and there were dreadful days. I'm not a victim, I just lived through it. Now, at 85, Ali stands as a survivor, not just of Hollywood, but of all the illusions it sells. Her courage in revealing the truth, scars and all, is her ultimate legacy. Behind the legend is a woman whose greatest role was finally claiming her own story. What would you do in her place? Do you think Hollywood's golden romances hide even darker secrets? Let's talk in the comments.